This update is brought to you by Movement. First, they revolutionized the watch industry, now they've also got designer quality sunglasses without the designer price. And you can get 15% off with free shipping and free returns. Just visit mvmt.com/theknow. Welcome to The Know, I'm Mica. The Super NES Classic debacle continues, even if you were lucky enough to snag one in the opening rounds of availability. Now some retailers are reporting that their shipments of the retro console are going to be late. Amazon sent out a notice to customers in the US writing, "We recently learned that we may miss your delivery promise and apologize for the inconvenience. You will still receive your order of the Super NES Classic. We are working hard to ensure you get this item as soon as it is in stock." There are also reports that orders of multiple units have now been reduced to just one. At the same time, Toys R Us in the UK sent out notices that their shipments would also be delayed by 2 to 3 weeks. And in other Nintendo hardware shortages, many have been wondering if Nintendo will be able to keep up the stock of their other big ticket item, the Switch, as we move into the holiday season. In a statement to the Wall Street Journal, the company wrote, "We're doing everything we can to make sure everyone who wants to buy a Nintendo Switch system can do so. We will ramp up production for the holiday period, which has been factored into our forecast." That doesn't sound like it's going to be too much of a ramp up then, since it's still going to fall in the same number they've been projecting for the first year, around 10 million. But you know what? Best of luck for getting one of those for Mario Odyssey, because I know I am excited to play Mario Odyssey. And speaking of the Nintendo Switch, could Nintendo's handheld console get virtual reality? There have been months of rumors that Nintendo is considering updating the system with VR at some point down the line, and now there might be a little bit of evidence. Security consultant Cody, rad last name, tweeted about some lines he found in the Switch OS code which look like they're related to VR support. Brocious showed the lines of code which specifically mentioned VR, writing, "Just found this while looking at IPC interfaces on the Switch. Interesting." We know from comments Nintendo has made in recent months that VR is something they've actively been researching, but their biggest concern about the technology is whether or not it's safe for kids to use for long periods of time. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds has been climbing the charts, and it's officially at the top of the heap now. Over the weekend, the Battle Royale sensation surpassed Dota 2 and concurrent players to become the #1 most played game of the moment on Steam. PUBG peaked out at 877,000 players, according to a tweet by designer Brendan Green, knocking Dota 2 off its perch. That, of course, still is not anywhere close to Dota 2's all-time high of over 1.1 million players, but PUBG keeps surprising everyone. In fact, we found out about another recent milestone over the weekend as well. Financial analyst David Ahmad shared on Twitter that PUBG is now the best-selling single-platform game of 2017. So surely somebody ought to send Brendan Green a couple of IRL chicken dinners for those achievements. If you're still holding out hope for a surprise announcement of Elder Scrolls 6, seriously, you should just stop it. Like, everybody should just stop. Listen, I've been looking out for it too. Just quit it. Just cut it out. Bethesda's Pete Hines is yet again letting fans know that the game is still a very, very long way off. PC Games N caught up with Hines at QuakeCon this weekend, who said there's still 2 major multi-platform releases that the team has to work on first, and so TES 6 isn't happening until those games happen. Big multi-platform AAA stuff that they do takes multiple years, so you can do the math. It ain't anytime soon, and it's not really anywhere on anybody's radar. One of those projects that they're working on instead is SKYRIM VR, and unfortunately for VR fans, we're getting reports that the game is bad. Chairman George, who runs the YouTube channel Super Bunny Hop, previewed the demo at QuakeCon and called it a hot mess. He added, "The movement is all wrong, handled via teleporter. You blink in and out of existence. A relaxing, immersive walk through Skyrim is impossible." He also wrote that the combat is messed up and it's apparently handled via a waggling sword and unlimited point and forget flamethrower. Another YouTuber, Dreamcast Guy, didn't like it either. He posted a video about it and wrote, "It is so weird seeing one of my favorite games of all time being turned into an empty VR experience. Hopefully it gets fixed somehow before launch." So, no Elder Scrolls 6 and Skyrim VR sucks, but could there be another epic fantasy series on the way from Bethesda? Well, judging by a retail listing over the weekend, that may be the case. Target seems to have put up a page for a new Game of Thrones video game created by Bethesda without much information besides just that. The now deleted listing jives with some really weird rumors about Bethesda's E3 conference that never came to pass, namely that Bethesda would be announcing a new IP Starfield, but also that the company was working on licensed Game of Thrones video games. So now we can take bets on what comes out first, the game or Season 8. And speaking of tons of Bethesda news, will a Dishonored 3 ever happen? Well, the upcoming DLC, Death of the Outsider, will wrap up the current narrative arc, according to studio director Harvey Smith, and he's not sure if there will be another full-fledged game after that. Smith was asked by IGN at QuakeCon if there will be a Dishonored 3, and he said, "I don't know yet. I kind of hope that there are more Dishonored games, but I honestly don't know." While this may come as a shock to series fans, it perhaps shouldn't be too surprising. Around the time of Dishonored 2's release, there were reports that it wasn't quite living up to the first game's sales. But if you still need a Dishonored fix, the Death of the Outsider DLC releases on September 15th. Rest in peace, Xbox One. No, the console isn't actually dead, but the original version is. IGN reports that Microsoft seems to have stopped selling the original version of the console and is shifting instead to the S and its upcoming X models. Microsoft UK's online store lists the original as sold out, while its US store only lists a refurbished version. This isn't a complete shock considering that the company's focus is now on the upcoming Xbox One X, and the superpowered console has been showing some promising signs. It recently set a pre-order record for Microsoft, which might have encouraged them to pull the plug on the original Xbox Ones. Bill Nye the Science Guy, more like Bill Nye where the hell's my money guy. Everyone's favorite science lover is suing Disney, saying that its subsidiary Buena Vista Television is screwing him and the show's other co-owners out of profits from the series. Nye said that he and others are owed a total of $28.1 million, while he personally is owed more than $9 million. That's a lot of Bunsen burners. Bill Nye the Science Guy ended production in 1997, but it's been in syndication ever since, and Nye says that he and others are owed 50% of all net profits. The LA Times quoted a representative for the network calling the lawsuit a publicity ploy and said, "We look forward to vigorously defending it." There are a lot of distribution platforms these days, but this is a new one for us. The developer of Darkwood recently released their new game on Pirate Bay. Yeah, you heard that, Pirate Bay. Yes, Acid Wizard Studios said that they were frustrated with how game keys were getting resold on shady websites, so they decided to take an unusual approach to releasing their game. The studio wrote on Imgur, "We decided to upload it to Pirate Bay to ensure that people who can't afford it can download a safe version of the game." They added, "If you don't have the money and want to play the game, we have a safe torrent on the Pirate Bay of the latest version of Darkwood, completely DRM free. There's no catch, no added pirate hats for characters or anything like that. We just have one request. If you like Darkwood and want us to continue making games, consider buying it in the future. Maybe on sale through Steam, GOG, or Humble Store." So yeah, it's a novel approach. We've seen similar things in music with artists releasing whole albums for free, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in the gaming world. The game is also currently available for $15 on Steam if you want to check it out. So that pretty much wraps up all the news we have for you today, and for more news from every corner of this crazy place we call the internet, remember to like this video, and if you are new around here, subscribe to the know. Shout out to Movement for sponsoring this update. We've shown you their watches before, and now they're here to shield your eyes from the sun in serious style without the serious price. Movement sunglasses start at just $70, and if you were shopping for these in a store, you could expect to pay upwards of $200. Plus, you can pick and choose upgrades when you want them, like polarized lenses. These are high-quality, premium acetate frames too, no cheapo plastic, and there are tons of styles to choose from, so you get the sunglasses that suit you. You want to give them a try? You can get 15% off your purchase, so you can save even more, plus free shipping and free returns. To get it, just visit mvmt.com/theknow.